AITA for not taking my girlfriend's side over a sexist tradition at a restaurant.
Oh, that's such a good one. I'm so excited.
I'm in.
I am 26. That's a male of 26 years old.
Of age.
That's one after 25.
I follow.
4 years before 30.
Is that how you identify?
Am a second generation French immigrant to the U.S.
Okay.
Well, you must know more.
Does that mean you're not making sourdough but making croissants during this time?
I speak French, and most of my family lives in France. I've been dating an American girl, F24, for 2 years now. My girlfriend does not speak French at all. The actual events in question happened this winter. My GF and I went to France. She wanted to eat at a fancy French restaurant, something with Michelin stars. We made a reservation for a good restaurant. Not the best, but still good. Okay. We had to make it months in advance. There was also a dress code and things like that.
Okay, then that's the best, by the way.
Yeah.
That is the best.
Yeah. Did you want them to cancel it so that you're at a super fancy thing and then reschedule?
Every fake shits on themselves in these stories. You notice that? I had this, we were on their show before. It's like, I had a nice bottle of wine somebody used as an enema. Not the queen of wines. I didn't get it from Sir Wine himself, but it was expensive wine.
Sir.
We showed up and everything was fine at first. They took our coats. We sat down. The restaurant was beautiful.
By the way, when a restaurant insists that they take your coat because it's so uncomfortable to hold on to that, even though that's literally my purse in the summer. Yeah, you're in a fancy restaurant.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying it's the prettiest. It wasn't the Sistine Chapel, but I'm saying it was a beautiful experience. Fucking asshole.
Okay. The waiter then gave us our menu. I had to do all of the communication as my GF doesn't speak French. I was showing
I followed. And then they had the dick sucking ceremony. Well, she doesn't understand that as a nice white shut French person.
Please continue.
I was showing my GF something on my menu, and she noticed that mine had prices and hers did not. I'd completely forgotten about this tradition because it's just not common in the US. Right. She asked me why mine had the prices that hers didn't. I explained that it was a tradition in many upscale French restaurants. She called it sexist and said it was ridiculous. I told her that's just the way it is in these kinds of places, and we shouldn't have come here if she was upset by this.
I asked to pay half. Am I the asshole?
She wanted me to ask for a menu with prices for her. I refused because we already had the prices and I didn't want to make a scene. She demanded that I confront a waiter about it or she would walk out. I called her bluff and she ended up staying but didn't talk to me for the whole meal, which was delicious.
Which is worth it. Which is worth $250. Yeah, and it was good. It was delicious. Yeah.
It's delicious. We've been back home for several months, but she keeps bringing it up. I'm honestly considering ending the relationship over this because she will not stop talking about it. She keeps accusing me of being sexist. I'm not, and has been making ridiculous comparisons.
Oh my God. Break up. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, so sorry that someone else was sexist and now I'm fucking paying for it for the rest of my life. Yes, of course it's sexist. Yes, why don't you go to Saudi Arabia and then go to a fucking restaurant and tell them how sexist they are too, even though you opted in and realize that a tradition is happening without your consent. Leave. Don't stay there. Did he pay for the meal? Was that sexist of you? Did you leave that part out? No, well, he left it out, so I don't know about that. So.
I think I cut it, but he did pay for he was paying for the meal the whole time.
Sure. And you know what? I've gotten that menu with the prices and somehow realized, because we were comparing meals, that the woman didn't have the price. I wanted her to see the price. See it! Like, let's switch menus. It's the easiest thing.
Wait, you've actually seen this in America? Or
I've been there,
France?
Yeah, in America.
Really?
Brag.
I've never seen this.
I mean, it's not the best place.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. There's just somewhere nice, small. They focus on certain things. And I had the price and I realized she didn't. And I'm like, oh, I see. Okay.
I do think that's a nice option to have, but it would be nice if if they asked who's going to pay, because I don't exclusively let someone else pay for me just because we're dating. But
it also depends how the date goes. I'm like, we're going to figure it out if we're Dutch.
Let's actually trade menus. You
Right.
lost. Sorry.
I'm sorry, this is yours.
But this is what I'm talking about with, like, now that everyone's squished together in Corona, it's accelerating the bullshit, right? So someone else was sexist, absolutely. You decided to not start a parade about it right there in the restaurant because you don't think that's the way to respond to it, even though you agree that it's wrong and sexist. Then what are we doing here? You still sat there through the dinner and now you're going to be holier than everybody else and keep bringing it up? Like,
right.
What's the point? You have a perfect relationship and are bored? Like, what's happening? Yes, it's sexist. Yes, he admits it, but he didn't make up the rules. And by the way, you didn't even for a second consider that he arranged it that way, that you don't have to see the numbers. You just got pissed. You're already pissed. You're already mad. And don't get me wrong, I'm a woman. I've gotten treated that way in a restaurant. Keith and I go to dinner every year just for our show. And we usually go to a nice steakhouse where they are sexist. Even in the US, they give him the check and he hands it to me across the table, even though we both have the same credit card that links to the same account.
In front of them, I go,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I go, you got the Caesar salad. You wanted the buffalo tomatoes.
Yes, but if I wanted Keith to be like, stand up for me right now, like, no, we're just never going to come here again and whatever.
But that doesn't offend you when that happens.
Of course,
when you go to the steak place and the old Russian. By the way, why are they always Russian? They're always old Russians at these steak places. He gives you.
Yet on a show. Sorry, I got fucking riled up.
Does that bother you, Henda?
Yeah, it's sexist. Yeah, you're assuming there hasn't been a relationship where somebody is paying for my everything. That's what my parents' relationship was like. No, I don't get equal pay, but I have. It's sexist. It's sexist. So yeah, of course it's offensive, but I don't fight every fight all day on the street because you get sexist at all day.
And when your lover is on your side, how isn't that the fucking end of it? You keep bringing it up, then this guy's a horrible communicator. I don't know. He sounds verbose because the first half of the story, quite frankly, I was trying to adjust my headphones better and I missed it. But guess what? I didn't miss any of the fucking story. That fucking guy.
What do you guys think?
You have to assume they talk to each other at home. And if nothing's getting done, then she's out of line. Enough.
I think so. There's a couple different factors here. So I think he is wrong. I think OP is wrong about, I didn't want to tell the waiter, only the best guest today. Who did that? Sarah, was that you?
I don't know. What is that noise?
I thought I heard a text message.
I don't know if Henda has a problem hearing
my
us.
phone's on airplane mode.
I think Henda tried to sneak a text.
I did try to sneak a text because I need the cord for my laptop, and
I was like, "Wow, you're talking shit about us."
Oh, hold on! I gotta go outside and bring Henda the cord.
It's a man's job. It's a man's job. So I guess where I was going with this is, so in the actual situation, I agree with you guys about everything. I mean, she is catastrophizing this. This argument should be over. It's already done. But in the situation, I think that he was being a little too shy because I think if he had asked the waiter, like, oh, hey, can we just get a menu with the price? She just wants to see it. I think they would have been like, yes, of course, sir. Because that's how these places are. They're accommodating. Right. Even though it's sexist, it's very classy and it's well done. They
say no. We have certain rules. No, and no cell phones, and we only push in women's chairs.
Actually, that's a good point, Danny. But yeah, that's a really good point because all I'm asking for is, hey, can you even this out by just asking the waiter this? But that means to me that she thinks she's dating someone else and she should break up with him. He is not a person that has the necessity to be confrontational in that way. And maybe you think that's a pussy, so then that's what you think is happening.
Right. Sarah, where are you at in all this?
I wouldn't have asked for the menu either. Like, honestly, Parisian people are fucking annoying. And, like, they would have probably been like, he'd be like, can I please have the menu? And they'd be like, what? And he'd be like, the one with the prices. And they'd be like, okay. Like, they would have given him some attitude about it. And just, no, I wouldn't have wanted to deal with it either.
Yes, but if I was on a date with you, I'd be like, I would take that stupid, waiter that you're making up and making up his response. I'll take that response. I'll take that response from him because it doesn't bother me, but I don't mind confrontation.
Also, if he's taking you out,
no, it's
if
not
it's
worth
understood
it
the one person's taking the other person out, I'd rather not see the prices.
Yeah.
They're in a relationship of 2 years. Like, he was taking her out. I would rather not see the prices because then I can just order guilt-free.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what he wants, right? If you're paying, don't you want the other person to do guilt-free unless you're Keith on a first date?
Dump her. Let her go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Amanda
What do you think her
G
name is? Sorry, Danny. What do you think her name is? It'll help me.
This is like a Lauren, I feel.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Lauren.
I
Bye-bye.
feel it in my soul.
Bye-bye.
Amanda G writes,
Yeah.
ESH, everyone sucks here. I see her point, but in a public restaurant to a waiter, much less, is not the appropriate venue to voice one's complaint. So I see this, like, if he had went to the waiter like, this is sexist, or she had said that, I would have been like, look, this is our culture. This is how we do shit in France. We're a shitty country. Everyone knows that. Why'd you come here? You know?
I don't hate the verdict, but her point actually makes like literally no sense. Like, if bringing it up to the waiter would not have been the appropriate venue, then where would you bring it up?
Well, I think it's a broad cultural thing. This is a cultural tradition. So it's like, it's not the waiter being sexist. The waiter could be a pig, but he's just going with the flow here.
But he wouldn't have gone to the waiter to be like, this is sexist, how dare you? Like, he would have just been like, hey, can we have the other menu?
I kind of feel like that's what she wanted, though. She
wanted him to like
show.
rail against institutional sexism to the waiter.
Yeah,
Right,
but,
then
but
call,
here's the thing.
Call it home.
But
Call it home.
Both their wants are equal. She wants him to do it. He doesn't want to do it. Why is she right? Why can't she say, can I have the other menu if it's not rah-rahing against the anti-sexist? Why does he need to step up? Isn't that sexist?
So it's actually just,
I think you're on it.
It's because she doesn't speak French. However, these people probably speak some English.
Who doesn't speak a little bit of French? Come on, parlez-vous français?
Also, okay, so then if you don't speak French, then let him speak French and let him say what he wants. He's an adult human that you're emasculating, even though I don't believe in that word because I believe women can be emasculated also.
But you made him a bitch.
Yeah, you're making him the bitch you think he is. So just break up with the bitch. I don't know. Why is this turning you off so hard? Because you're sexist. Because a man who doesn't stand up for you is a bitch. So now you're a bitch too.
I think you made me really not like her. I think you're really spot on. She has like a crazy double standard here.
Let me tell you a little bit about Keith overseas, okay? We took a little trip to Israel years ago, all right? Talk about culture shock. Keith, as much as he interrupts you and is a fucking son of a bitch on everything that we do, he's a very polite, kind of a meek human being in public. It's very odd. Yeah. And I'll give you this example. Israelis are known for being very aggressive, very loud, very pushy. And we sort of pride ourselves on that. So we're in Israel. Keith is like fully American in every single way. And we're waiting for the bus to go to Jerusalem. And he goes, all right, I'm going to get a falafel or a shawarma while we're waiting. And me and my brothers were there.
I'm sorry, 1 second. It was a crepe.
It was a crepe. Oh, God.
You got a crepe in Israel? YTA.
Oh, my God. YTA.
I guess what? The peas aren't different in Israel. Can I get some chickpeas? Get the fuck out.
Well, anyway, me and my brothers are like, look, we know who you are. You're a very polite, nice young man. And it's not going to fly here, especially at the bus station. There's way too much hustle and bustle. And he's like, I think I can get a crepe on my own. Okay. Okay. Good luck, Keith. And no one was surprised when he came back with no crepe, with no food, with no nothing. And he said, this is insane. No one was paying attention to me. I was standing in line and I go, what line? And he goes, there wasn't even a line. I'm like, I know. And he's like, people were cutting in front of me and yelling at the thing and I didn't get a chance to order. And I'm like, let us come with you. We're going to yell at them in the way that we know how to yell at them and you get your order. And he's like, no, because if they can't hear me the way I am, then I don't even want their food. And I'm like, all right, starve to death. I don't give a shit. It's a crepe. But he can't, you know, you don't slide right into a new culture just because you're there and you see how it works.
I didn't explain politeness to them. I didn't explain just because you want a napkin, you don't jump in and literally jump over the counter and grab it.
Right. Like
I'm also not going to play along. And so I didn't get my crepe. I
couldn't come to the counter with him and be like, excuse me, he was standing here and I think you're ignoring him. Right. And it would be very, I mean, he has money. Show them your money. You're American. They love you everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
excellent.
I like that story because it's also, you know, Keith sucks, but he is deferent to this culture. He's not going to be big. He's not going to be boisterous. And like, it's also just delusional because the way she's acting is almost like, if we raise a fucking huge stink about this, then the French aren't going to be sexist. And it's like, no, you're not going to fix the culture with your complaint.
Yeah, they're just going to talk shit about you later after you leave. They're going to be like, can you get a load of this crazy American bitch?
To be expected, you know, and you're just kind of falling into that. I'm not saying don't ever stand up for yourself, but no one cares about you in that restaurant. Pay your bill and get out and say thank you.
I think we all agree, AITA, for not taking my girlfriend's side over a sexist tradition at a restaurant, not the asshole, and she is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep.